Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're finally ready to do a tour of our new camper van.
Woo! It's been over a year in the works. There's still some work we want to do on the outside, but the inside is finished, it's ready, and we can't wait to show you.
I've mentioned this in another video, but I feel like when you build your own camper van, I'm not sure if it's ever fully complete. There are always things you kind of want to modify a little bit or change or add. We're at a point where we're ready to show you guys everything.
This van is a 2005 Dodge Sprinter 3500 with an extended roof and extended wheelbase, which was kind of a must for us.
Yeah, we spent a long time searching for this van. We knew what we wanted. We knew we wanted the largest and highest van, so I could stand up in it mostly. But it also leaves a lot of room for us to like a lot of living space.
Yeah, which is super nice. When we bought it, we really lucked out. We bought this van for 6,000 Canadian dollars and it had 150,000 kilometers on it. So we got a steal. We have a video on what to look for when you're buying a used van.
And why we purchased a Sprinter Diesel.
Yes, and we will link that below if you guys want to check it out.
One of the most popular questions we get asked is how much we spent when building this van, and the answer, including the price of the van, is under $30,000. So a lot of people start their build spending $30,000 on their van, and we were actually able to complete our build spending under $30,000, which is
pretty incredible.
Yeah, we were pretty happy with it.
I think that we could have probably done it for under 20. Or around 20, but we did like some mechanical fixes. We got snow tires. There's a lot of things that were kind of optional that we opted in for. We got like the best quality equipment and stuff like that. So this is really, we kind of went all in. Welcome to van life. Alright, so first thing, we definitely wanted a place to put our shoes. We had stayed in a van a few years ago now, and we kind of just put them here, and we weren't a big fan of that. So we have this shoe compartment under here. It can fit 3 to 4 pairs of shoes, and you can access it from the bottom, and then you can also access it from the top, which is super nice.
This is the cabin area, and we didn't do a lot of changes here. We did add seat covers. You can see Bailey's bed down in the middle there. And then we added a pop-up double touchscreen with a backup camera, which is key to driving a van this size. You can't see anything behind you, so that was really nice. The other thing we did is install a diesel heater underneath this seat. We have the controls right up here. Behind the driver's seat, we have a water jug where we keep our drinking water. It's really nice, really handy while we're driving to be able to fill up water bottles. There's also just a small battery operated pump on top there that lasts a really long time. It's really convenient. It's 25 liters, so that adds a lot to our water capacity, which is also perfect because when you're away from cities or anywhere you can fill up for a long time, it's nice to be able to have a lot of water on board. Up here we have a insulated curtain that helps during the winter time, keeps everything warm. It also blocks out, obviously, a lot of the view from inside. So we tend to pull this over whenever we park anywhere. We're leaving the van for a long period of time, so nobody can kind of see back here, see if there's any valuables to break in. We also have, back behind the curtain here, a tiny little zebra pattern broom, which is actually my broom, believe it or not. Kaylee bought it for me, so I can pitch in more around the van when things get dirty. Mostly because I never take my shoes off when I go in and out.
Exhibit A, can we just please?
Okay, so then above the cab, we have a really roomy shelf. So this adds like a lot of space right now. It goes all the way back quite far. So we have all of our coats and jackets up here right now, as well as the gimbal case. It's just a very handy spot to throw like raincoats, jackets, especially in the winter time when you're carrying all that gear. Just a really nice space to have because storage is hard to come by in a van, obviously. All
right, next part is one of my favorite parts of the van. It is the kitchen. We put so much time into designing this. We designed it, redesigned it a few more times, but we are so happy with how it turned out. So everything in here is electric. It runs off of our solar system except for the stove, which is propane. So to start off, we've got a 110 liter Dometic fridge. It is very roomy. We actually have not completely filled it up on any of our trips yet. Like, we always have some space. We've got drawers down here and a little freezer. Right now all we have is our little ice cube tray, but that also can fit a ton in it.
It looks small, but honestly, it's a perfect size. Like, there's no way that you're gonna go to a grocery store and like be able to fill this thing.
We've gone on 10-day road trips,
yeah,
and it's like we still have room.
Oh yeah.
We don't think we're gonna fit it all in, and it's incredible. For
sure. Definitely recommend the 110 liter. After that, it goes down to 80 liters, and I feel like that would be probably a little bit too small if you want to go for a week or more.
I would definitely go for one with a freezer too. We don't use it all the time, but when we do, like, there's certain things that it's just so nice to have ice. It's nice to have frozen fruit. We're big ice cream people, so that's also really nice. Next up is the pantry. So this, I think, was David's least favorite part of building the kitchen. Ooh, but it's really packed full in there. Just take that off. It holds pretty much all of our dry food in here. So one of the things that we did in our van is everything is magnetized. So you kind of have two options. You can either put in latches on all of your cupboards, or you can put magnets. As you can see, we have little magnets on all of our cupboards, and then we have bigger ones on most of them. And that just helps when you're driving around, things are rattling, things aren't going to be flying open. Funny story, this bad boy has a really strong magnet now. We have one of these on each side, and that is because originally we just had one. And just picture this, I was in the passenger seat, leaned back, relaxing. We're driving in windy roads on the island, and David turned a corner and this thing flew open. We're lucky that it caught, because otherwise it would have just smoked me in the face. So
you never think peanut butter could kill someone, but Kaylee almost died via peanut butter.
Overall, the magnets work really good. This cabinet pops open every once in a while, and that's more just because nothing's ever square in a van, so we're always playing with it, but they work really well. We would highly recommend the magnets over the latches. Mostly it just looks a lot cleaner, and there's less rattling. It's just easier. Up top, this is kind of our junk / electronics drawer. We got our first aid kit in there, our crib board.
Some glue.
Yeah. Pretty much anything that we don't have a home for goes up there. So when we were designing this kitchen, I really wanted tile. But we weren't sure with driving around and grout how that was gonna work. So we ended up finding these are actually just stick-on tiles. They're super thin. We just found them at the hardware store. And they work like a dream. So if you're looking for kind of the tile look, I would highly recommend going with the stick-on. We have our knife rack here. It is a very strong magnet, and you can hold all of your knives, your spatulas, everything on there.
Nothing's ever fallen off.
Yeah, which is great, because that could be scary, flying knives while we're driving. Next up, we'll go over the top two cabinets. So underneath here, we just have some lights. Those just stick on, and then they're just battery operated, which is kind of handy. And then we've got our top drawers here. So in this one here, we've got coffee filters. We've got we each have a bin with all of our toiletries and stuff like that in it. We've got some of our glasses and mugs, our little spoon holder from Costa Rica. And then in this drawer, we've got all of our spices. We were really into the magnetic spice holders. It's actually a really good use of space there. We really like that. And then we just kind of bought these trays to put everything else in. We usually put like food here. We've got all of our tea, any other spices or anything that we need in there. We have our window, which we are so happy we put in. We actually get a lot of questions about this, and we got it off of Kijiji for like 180 bucks or something. It's an old RV window, but both of these open, which cannot stress this enough for airflow. Super nice to have windows that open with the fan and then the windows in the front. It just really helps to cool it down in here. This countertop we actually got on a crazy sale at Rona. I think it was regular like $300. It was a huge butcher block, and we got it for like $189. It was the last one in Calgary. So we basically just cut it to fit. David cut this guy out for the sink. Both the faucet and the sink we got off of Amazon, and the sink and the faucet's pretty nice. It comes out, you can change between kind of whatever nozzle you want. For on top of the sink, when we want more counter space, we just kept this little guy, which I think was a lot of work for David, but it makes a huge difference, especially when counter space is really limited.
So the sink drains down to a 16-liter gray water tank, which is underneath the van. I know it seems like a fairly small gray water tank, but it takes a long time to fill it. We don't use very much water when we're doing dishes or washing our hands or whatever, so we can actually go probably 3 or 4 days before draining the gray water.
So if you have not noticed by now, we are huge on storage, and that has a lot to do with the van that we had stayed in before we ended up buying this van. We just found that there was never a place for anything. They had like one drawer, everything was always on the floor and all over the bed, and we just wanted to have as much storage as possible. So we got all of these cabinets from IKEA. We actually have more room than we thought we would. So here we have all of our plates, bowls, and mugs. They're actually made of metal, so we have a little magnet underneath. It helps to keep them from sliding around. These two drawers, we at first thought would be for kitchen stuff, but we ran out of kitchen stuff to put in them. So we put our towels in these ones here. And then this is just an extra clothes drawer for me. We've got the cabinets under the sink, which David will go over with you in just a minute. And then over here we have all of our utensils, kettle, bowls, aluminum foil, coffee filter, things like that. And then underneath, we've got all of our pots and pans, cutting board, and this is just like a drying mat for our dishes.
Okay, so underneath the sink, we have our garbage right here, and then we have our block that covers the sink, slides in beside it, and then we kind of have a little, is this a basket? I don't even know what to call it. It's kind of like our cleaning basket. So it has like paper towel and like some different soaps and stuff in there. And then behind that, we have our propane cabinet. When you're fluctuating elevation while driving, like through mountains and stuff, the propane is going to build up in pressure, and pressure is going to come out, because that's how the propane bottles are designed. So they don't explode when you are gaining elevation and the pressure goes up. So with a vented cabinet, it's basically airtight except for one vent. Propane will sink to the bottom, so you want to have your vent at the bottom of the cabinet so the propane can escape out through the bottom of the van. So this is really nice because a lot of people put their cabinets underneath their bed or in the back, but during the winter time we found that we didn't want to run out when it's minus 30 to turn the propane on and then turn it back off every time. So now we just reach under here and we can either turn it off and on and then close the door. We know it's vented, we know we're safe, we know there's never going to be a leak. So beside the sink, we have our 2-burner propane stove, which is really nice to have. It works great. We purchased this off of Amazon. I think it was $240. My favorite part about this stove is it actually has a battery underneath and it is self-igniting. So all you have to do is, you probably heard that, hold it down and it'll just click until it ignites, which is really nice. You don't have to pull out like matches or anything. Another thing you have to worry about with propane is obviously the fumes. So every time we're using the stove, we have the window at least cracked a little bit, and then we have our MaxAir fan on vent. So the air will basically flow right over top of the stove and then out of our MaxAir fan. The MaxAir fan is definitely one of the most popular fans on the market, and the reason being is when it opens, it doesn't open so like rain can get into it. So it's still covered and it keeps you dry. You can operate it while it's raining or snowing or whatever, which is really nice. So this fan has 10 speeds, I believe, and it can also be auto adjusted to like 78 Fahrenheit. I think that can also be adjusted. We don't use auto mode a lot. We usually just always have it on. But it can vent or it can blow air inside, which is really nice. It cools down the fan really quick. Beside the fan, we have the massive Skylight, which has been so nice. It's one of my favorite parts of this van. makes so I can stand underneath. So I'm 6'3" and I still have a couple inches, so I'm sure anyone who's like maybe 6'4" or 5 can still stand in here without being all scrunched over. That was one of our big reasons we bought this van. We wanted the extended top, and then we also added the Skylight on. In the summertime, this brings in quite a bit of heat. We do have an insulated cover that we can put over top. It's magnetized, so it magnetizes over top of the Skylight. And then in the wintertime, this is beautiful. At night, the stars come out and we can literally sit in here, have dinner, look up, and there's just stars everywhere, which is definitely one of our favorite features about it. Big game changer and really makes our van stand out from other vans. If you're thinking about getting a Skylight, we would definitely recommend it. It's so nice to have that natural light, especially in the wintertime when it's cold outside and you're kind of spending more time in the van. We do a lot of work in here as well, so it's really nice to have that added light. So the last thing we have on the roof of the van are the 6 LED lights back here, and then we also have one up front. They're 3-watt, 12-volt lights. They work really well. We ordered them on Amazon. I think they were about $75 in total. We also have a touch switch right here. So basically, you just touch it once, lights turn off, touch it again, lights turn on. You can also dim, which is really nice.
We have fancy mood lights in here.
Fancy mood lights. The only thing that we wish it had is a remote, actually. That would be nice, but that's okay.
Yeah, a lot of times if we're getting into bed though, we'll turn these lights off and then we'll just turn this little guy on just to pop into bed, and then we'll turn it off. All right, moving on to the back half of the van. A lot of people don't have a fixed bed in their van. A lot of people will do the kitchen with the table that you can then fold down the seats and the table and convert it into a bed. Again, from our experience in the van that we rented before we ended up buying this one, we never converted our table into a bed. So for this van, we decided that we didn't want to have any sort of conversion to do every day. We just wanted to have a permanent bed and a permanent table. So our solution to this is actually a queen size mattress, and then underneath here, we've got our kitchen table. So this table is actually made of the same wood as our countertop here. We had just enough to kind of do the table and the countertop, which worked out really nicely. And then we've got just these little push clamps here to slide in and out. There is enough room for both David and I to sit here side to side and eat, which is super nice. And then it's just totally out of the way when you don't need it. We have an outlet here, and we also have an outlet just in the kitchen. We wanted to have two just to make sure that we had lots of space for charging. They also have 2 plugins and 2 USB chargers, which has been really handy. Underneath the table, we've got 2 drawers that we use for clothes storage. Every girl needs a mirror in her life, so we actually found this flexible mirror on Amazon, and it works perfectly in here. These cushions are maybe my pride and joy a little bit of the van because I am not a sewer, but I made these from scratch. So we've got underneath the cushions, we can kind of take them off if we need to. We haven't had to clean them yet, but we've got our storage under here. So this is our shoe cupboard that we were showing you earlier. And then under here, this cabinet is actually lockable, which is super nice. So we put most of our, we'll put our computers or camera in here if we're going on a hike and we're not bringing stuff. It's just nice to have a little bit of extra safety if we're not going to be here in the van. The sliding door, we actually agonized over what to do with this for so long. At first we wanted to have extra counter space that folded down, and then we were thinking like storage compartments. But with the door sliding back and forth and rattling and having to make this clearance, we wouldn't have been able to put a ton of storage on there. And it's really nice to just have a piece of artwork to kind of, again, just make our van feel homey and different. We did, however, put a storage cubby under here, which is very handy. We put Bailey's leash, her bags, we put our grocery bags in there, toilet paper, things like that, that we might just want to grab quickly as we are leaving the van. The last thing we decided to do with the door, which was a huge win on our part, is put up this bug screen. So especially in the summer, it's been like 30 degrees all summer here. So we just have Velcro that goes around the edge here. So we can just put this up. It's got magnets in the middle, so we can kind of come in and out and keep the door open, keep the airflow, and not have mosquitoes and flies coming in here.
Okay, so one thing that Kaylee didn't mention in our little security cabinet here is we have our electronic controls down here. So I have the Renogy 500 amp hour battery monitor, And then we also have our switch for our inverter, so we can go ahead and turn that on, which will turn on both of our outlets. And then we can also just like read the battery voltage and everything down here. I also have the Renogy BT2 battery monitor, which is a wireless battery monitor that I can just pull my phone out and turn on the app and see what's going on, how much solar power we're getting, that sort of thing, which is really nice and handy. Some people have like a whole bunch of different gauges, but we wanted to keep everything kind of clean and homey in here, so we did just kind of keep things hidden. So this is the floor that we decided to go with. It is a vinyl laminate flooring. I believe the panels are 6 inches by 36 inches. This floor hides dirt so well, and it's really comfy to move on. We have an inch of insulation underneath. We've done a video exactly how we built our floor. Head over and check that out for more details, but we are really happy with the way this turned out.
All right, moving on to the bed. This is Bailey's blanket. She keeps us on our toes, keeps things dirty in here, but she's a lot of fun, so it's all right.
Keeps the squirrels at bay.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is her favorite part of the van. And like I said earlier, it is a full queen size mattress, which is really, really nice. I know a lot of people do the cushions that you can convert from a table to a bed, and they're just not as comfortable. So having an actual mattress in here is amazing. With that being said, we did get the extended wheelbase. So if we would have got a shorter van, we might have opted for the table that you convert into a bed. With the extended, we were very, very happy to just have a fixed bed. We also found this 8-inch mattress on Amazon. So most mattresses are like at least 12 inches, which really kind of eats into your space on top of the bed.
She also catches fire.
Yeah. So we've got our lights up here, and then on each side we have like just little cubbies to put your phone or your stuff. We have little USB chargers, which is really handy. We've also, on the side of our mattress, had room for all of these cubbies. So again, more storage. I've got my little bookshelf here, which I love, and we have our little portable fan. And then these are more just for extra clothes and extra storage. So David's got like socks and underwear there, bathing suits, PJs, my socks and underwear, and it's really nice actually to have this in a separate space than those pull-out drawers. Behind me we have some cutouts that David worked very, very hard on for a little bit of space to put these plants, which I was very appreciative of because I think that they add a lot of character to the van. We've also got some curtains that are just magnetic on the bottom. Honestly, we just keep them closed most of the time, but we could open them if we wanted to. When Bailey's in here by herself, she likes to sit here and open these curtains and look out at everyone. And in the interest of making things homey, we made another shelf for a plant, and I love it.
So that brings us to the back of the van. So back here is essentially the garage area. Just need to take a minute. She needs a lot of love. Okay, so back here, start on the door here probably. We have a hose, extension cord, converter, just kind of a bit of the utility stuff that we use to power the van or fill up the water tank. Over here, we have our water connection port. And then underneath that, we have all of our solar stuff. And I'll go into detail another video. Behind there, we have 200 amp hours of battery, a 2000 watt inverter, and then the DC to DC charger from the solar and the alternator. So behind all the electronics, we have a 45 liter fresh water tank. Beside that, we have a pump. And then all of this room is basically just for storage. So we have, right now, we just have some hiking boots, Bailey's food, backpacks, some tools, some chairs, my bike, and then behind the bike we actually have a 4-gallon hot water tank, which is really nice for washing dishes or showering. And then over here we just have some more storage stuff. Right here we have our fire extinguisher, and then we have our outdoor shower.
Should we set it up?
Yeah, we should probably set up the outdoor shower. It's really nice. We put quite a bit of effort into it and we're pretty excited. There's still a few modifications, but so this is basically the platform. It's essentially as basic of an outdoor shower as you could want. It's super easy to take down or set up. So basically what the shower consists of is a suction cup which holds the shower head, and then this is just regular shower hose. There's 2 shutoffs. There's one there and one here. This is the main one, and that's the one you can use while you're showering to control the pressure or the amount of water flow. And that's pretty much it. So basically with the suction cup, put that guy in the van, and that's it. So I'll might as well turn on the water.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. As you can see, it's pretty good. You get wet pretty fast. With a 4-gallon hot water tank, we have water for about 3.5 minutes. This valve helps out a lot, so you can kind of like wet down, turn the water off, shampoo, soap, and then turn the water back on and rinse off, so that way you save some hot water.
We should also note that since this shower is just going onto the ground, we use like completely natural soap.
So the last thing I want to mention, on the roof, we have 375 watts solar panels, which brings in a total of 525 watts of solar, which has been plenty for me and Kaylee. Combine that with charging off the alternator, and we never have to plug in. If we did have to plug in, we do have an outlet back here that we can plug into any outlet, like at a campground or at someone's house. It makes things super easy. So yeah. So that sums up the tour of our new camper van. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you saw some things that you like. Maybe there's some things that you'd like to change that you didn't like.
Yeah, either way, we'd really love to hear from you. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know if you're in the middle of a van build, what you guys are doing. Thank you so much for being here with us and for being part of this project. We've had so much support over the past year. So
yeah, and we've had a lot of fun building it, designing it.
We have a ton of videos of specific things, right from like the cushions to the solar, electrical, framing, everything. We've made videos on all of it, so we'll link some of those below, but we also have a van build series on our YouTube channel if you want to check it out for any advice. Anything that you've seen that you like, we've got it up there.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you next week.